Hi everyone and welcome to Splash Page. I'm Sean and as always I'm joined by Andrew and I cannot express how excited I am for this video today because we finally got to see the first episode of Invincible.
This was so incredibly good and I'm so excited with what they're doing and it really looks like they pulled straight from the comic books, which is great. They made a few little changes and they kept a lot of it the same and really they just pulled from issue 1 and then of course issue 7 at the end there. But yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, and before we go any further, I just want to do the obligatory spoiler warning because we will be going into what's happened in episode 1, as well as predicting a little bit of the future. Yes. Obviously, we know a lot about the future considering the books and the comics exist, but we'll try to glance over that a bit. But before we go any further, I do want to mention we are doing that giveaway for Invincible 19, the first appearance of Battle Beast, which is a character I cannot wait to see on screen. The way you can have a chance to win it, simple. Subscribe, comment on the video, like the video. When we get to 100 subscribers, we will choose at random a winner, and you'll just get a free copy of Invincible 19.
And I'm told there is no way I can win this, right?
No way you can win it.
100% sure I can't win this. Okay, fine. One of you will win it then, I guess. It's going to be good.
All right, awesome. So let's jump into this episode. Andrew, why don't you give us a quick rundown of what happened?
So we start off with two unnamed guards just standing outside the White House, kind of having a mundane little chat. And I love the little world building they do both in the book and in the show right here. This wasn't from the book, but where they just kind of talk about, we got to do superhero training next week. It used to just be like you got to duck out of the way of a knife, and now I've got to roll away from a guy that could kick a bus into the moon. I love how they talk about that kind of stuff in these books.
Yeah, they make it real.
Yeah.
They make it feel like it's actually a part of their world, and they do a nice job of setting it up for you right away.
Yeah.
So you are aware that superheroes are a thing here.
Completely drawn in. Do you know who was doing the voice of that guy?
I did, yeah, I noticed it. John Hamm.
Yep, that was John Hamm, just a little one-off character. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, boom, the Mauler twins show up out of nowhere. Here's what I loved about that. I've read 20 issues of the book so far. The Mauler twins didn't seem like much. 30 seconds into this episode, I was like, oh, these guys mean business. Do you know what else do you know about them? Tell us a little bit about the Mauler twins.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mauler twins are they're a lower level of villain or para-villains, I guess. The reason why they're called twins, they're not actually twins. They're not identical twins. One is a clone of the other.
Right.
The issue is, and I think you picked it up based on their banter in the show, they don't remember who was the original and who is the clone, so they both just claim to be the original.
And you picked that up a lot quicker in the show than I ever did in the comics, too.
Instantly, because that's like the conversation that they have right off the bat. I also think it's interesting, and this is something we might want to keep an eye on because I don't remember this from the comic. They mentioned that they need to kill the president and make it public, almost like they were hired to do this. So I'm curious as to if this is going to be a little side plot that we didn't see in the comic.
Gotcha. I thought that was just kind of a little, why are they doing this? We need a reason for them to be doing this and a reason for them to be fighting. One of them wanted to show up inside, one of them wanted to show up outside. Because that was really what explained that they were clones of each other.
Yeah.
That little argument. And then all of a sudden, the Guardians of the Globe show up. If you've ever seen any kind of a superhero show or read a comic book, they're obviously a takeoff of the Justice League. You've got Darkwing, who's Batman, Red Rush is Flash, War Woman is Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter. Although he kind of does have like Elastic Man's powers. Aquarius, who is Aquaman, Green Ghost, Green Lantern, and of course Immortal, who I'm pretty sure was based off, at least visually, Vandal Savage. So they just show up, they're fighting together as a team, Omni-man jumps in. You can see they all fight well together, but they're not used to fighting with Omni-man so much. I do like the little bit of world building in there where the Red Rush kind of apologizes for moving everyone so quickly, and you just see them all start to throw up because Yeah, you would if you were moved that
Yeah,
quickly.
absolutely. And I always thought that was really funny when this Flash would save people or Superman would save people. They'd just be fine when they landed. It's like you just moved like 1,000 miles an hour. Like you're going to be sick. You're gonna feel awful. And again, it's just a nod to like this is not a normal comic. Like it's calling out this little trope early
Yeah.
on. So yeah, I love that part.
You know what I just realized in this moment? They don't do that often, but where they did do that was in the Watchmen, when Silk
Yep,
Spectre
Silk Spectre and
and
Doctor
Doctor
Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Silk Spectre would
Yeah,
always throw up
yeah.
once Doctor Manhattan teleported her anywhere.
And then we jump into a scene in the school where one of the girls is getting picked on. This character was called out as Amber, who I believe is going to make a major appearance later on in the show, right? We jump from there to Mark getting his powers outside of the Burger Mart, which is literally a shot-for-shot recreation from the comic book, like panel for panel in the show, exactly the same. We move over to the Grayson house where we find out that Omni-Man is Nolan Grayson, Mark's dad. We realize, like, Mark idolizes his father. He expects to get the same powers, and he can't wait to get those powers, and he's just gotten those powers. It's very exciting for him. Not so much for Omni-Man, for Nolan for some reason, but we'll get into that. Then there's another scene in school where we run into Mark's best friend, William. He makes his first appearance. And then we get the flashback to when Omni-Man is telling Mark about where he comes from and his actual history, which is basically just issue number 2.
Yeah, and what we learn in that flashback is that Nolan is an alien from the planet Viltrum. He's a Voltronite, and essentially what they are, they look a lot like humans, but they have the ability to fly. They are super strong, have super speed, and it's this incredibly advanced civilization. They have a ton of futuristic technology, and what they do is they go around to different planets and spread peace and give out their technology. Or at least that's what Nolan says.
And most importantly, they have unbelievably good mustaches, every one of them. I haven't seen the women, but I bet they have great mustaches too.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, one thing I really liked in this episode was how much you can see Nolan and Debbie are in love. Like, they do have that feeling of love for each other that, I don't know about you, I didn't see it in the comic book as much as I saw it in the show.
Yeah, they have a lot of really intimate moments, much to Mark's displeasure. And
Yes.
I think one of the things that kind of stood out to me too is there's a scene at dinner when Mark says that he got his powers, where Nolan flies in and almost by instinct or just by sensing his presence, Debbie reaches out and grabs her wine glass as it's about to fall. So she has no special powers, no secret
Yeah.
speed or anything like that, but she's able to like be like, oh, Nolan's on his way home, which I thought was really cute.
You're right, that is something you would usually see the Flash do or a speedster.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So from there, we kind of go into the training montage of Nolan, Omni-Man, teaching his son, Mark, how to fly and how to fight. And it gets a little intense there for a minute. Mark's still trying to figure out how to land, is basically his main problem. They go over to the tailor, Art Rosenblum, voiced by the one and only Mark Hamill.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, and he wants that iconic suit, which, sure, doesn't everybody?
Everyone
What does
wants the iconic
mean?
suit. Absolutely.
And in the book, I love where they talk about that. They have a whole discussion about what does iconic mean. Nobody knows. Everybody wants it. Nobody knows what the hell it means. I think it means if you wear the suit, it becomes iconic. But
There you go.
and then he starts talking about some of his anxieties about being a superhero.
Yeah, and I think we have two pretty emotional scenes back to back. The first is during a conversation with Nolan where they're training, and you see him trying to push Mark, and Mark being happy-go-lucky and going further. But when they finally start to fight a little bit, Nolan hits Mark, and you can see instantly that changes everything for Mark, where he basically becomes a little child, and he's
By the way,
just-
in that moment, fantastic voice acting.
yeah, really.
Yeah,
Like,
unbelievably good.
you see him break down and go back to like a toddler, where like the dad yelled at him and he just curled up into a ball, which obviously led to more anxiety when he has the conversation with his mother and tries to have this hard exterior. She basically just backs him down, breaks him open, and he just essentially comes out and says that he's really scared and he doesn't know if he could ever live up to what Nolan, his father, Omni-man has done for the world, and he feels like he has to measure himself against that. And they have a nice conversation. It was cool seeing both of these conversations and both of these intimate moments happen, and kind of the difference between the two.
Yeah, it was a very masculine versus very feminine scene. You could see how Mark's mother really knows how to deal with superheroes. She's been around this for a while. And it was the quintessential, you don't have to be the best him, you just have to be the best you. Like, it's in everything, but it really felt emotionally, it hit the point here.
Yeah, if anything, I feel like Debbie's the strongest character out of all three. You know?
Yeah.
You get that sense early, and I have a feeling that we're going to see it quite often.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So from there, we find out where Mark gets his name, Invincible. It's from a panel in issue 6 where Mark and his father are playing baseball, throwing that baseball back and forth around the world. That's not how he gets it in the book. He gets it from the principal in the school, but that panel is from issue 6. Mark gets his suit, and it's finally the iconic suit he was looking for, whatever that means. We get to see the joy of flying around. That definitely looks like Manhattan that he's flying through, right? Suddenly out of nowhere, there's just a explosion. He's gonna fight this guy Kill Cannon that, I don't know if he's in the books, but I haven't gotten there yet. And the fight ends with that super cheesy superhero line where he just says, "You should probably give up, because I'm," and it cuts to Invincible. And we start to go into basically issue 7. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a moment all book readers were looking forward to. It starts with little vignettes of each one of the Guardians of the Globe, and if you had read the comic, you know what that means. It's a very similar situation to X Factor in Deadpool 2, where you know something bad's gonna happen, and it kicks right off as soon as they all get to headquarters. Omni-man shows up, and instantly you know it's gonna be a battle. In the comic itself, it's super quick. I think it's 1 page, and all the Guardians of the Globe are dead. But here it gets very bloody and very gory. All right, first we see Red Rush. He was the character that was in the trailer who got his head squeezed until it popped, and here we actually see it pop. Next, Darkwing attacks from up above, and Nolan catches his ankle and does the Hulk slam. But since this is not the MCU, we see what actually happens if that was to happen to somebody, and it's not pretty. Nolan throws Darkwing's body over to Green Ghost, who catches him, and then Nolan very promptly punches a hole through Green Ghost's head. Next, we see War Woman's mallet in Nolan's hand, and he makes very quick work of Aquarius, just pops his head by smashing it. Then we have Martian Man, who is kind of like Elastic Man we mentioned earlier, wrapped around Nolan, and Nolan just reaches and grabs what appears to be his eye or his face and just rips it clean off, leading to Martian Man falling to the ground, which is somehow the least gruesome death here. Then War Woman attacks, and Nolan twists her head off, and she falls down onto her knees in this very gross pose. And Immortal gets a hole punched through his stomach, but somehow survives that until Nolan does a quick backhand and decapitates him.
Yeah, that was incredibly brutal, and my eyes were glued to the screen. I felt like I learned more about the Guardians of the Globe in that 5 minutes than I did in the entire run of the comic book. It was captivating.
Yeah, well, we got that opening scene, which we didn't have in the books.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Meanwhile, you guys can put in the comments, which was your favorite death of all of the Guardians? Let us know down in the comments, because that'd be interesting for me to know what you guys think, because they were all so beautifully brutal.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing. And just just to reiterate, we still have that giveaway. So once we reach 100 subscribers, we're giving away issue 19 of Invincible, the first appearance of Battle Beast. So make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment on this video for a chance to win. I'm Sean. That's Andrew. Thank you so much for watching our video for the first episode of Invincible. Tomorrow, expect our episode 2 review to come out. So these are fast and furious, folks. You're going to want to subscribe to follow along. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.